Yeah, make sure you're. Hello, welcome back to Twin Crow. I'm David.
I'm Gary.
And we don't stack our decks at all on this channel.
No, here, I'll give you a second. I got to put a couple more cards on the top.
Yes. So, we were discussing, Gary was saying, if we really want to get through all this, we really do need the Trumpiest Trump who ever trumped. And Trump needs to surround himself with the Trumpiest Trump supporters who've ever supported a Trump.
Yes.
But they'll still blame it on the Democrats, anything that goes
wrong. It's on brand, isn't it?
Yes. But, kind of the, how many more lessons do we have to go through with this guy? Why does he get to be the teacher on these lessons? And
that's a good point.
Yeah. And when are the lessons over? So I don't know if that's quite the right segue. Were there comments on your reading that were asking about? This is going to be a Trump health reading in case.
Yeah. Well, I think your segue was actually very good. It was a good thing I told you to do it that way. Otherwise, you would have.
Yes, clearly. I segued like Paul Blart and Mall Cop.
No, there were some folks in the comments that were saying other readers were seeing some sort of health event happening in March.
Oh, yes.
When I did my...
Would one of those readers be Libby from Meister Tarot?
I believe Libby might have been one of those readers.
Oh.
When I did my Trump video about how will we know when we're getting to the end of the Trump era, what are the signs we're going to see? There were people asking, well, when is that going to happen? And, obviously some of that stuff is going to take longer than others. We're seeing a little bit of the fringes of it, where the judiciary is starting to push back. We're starting to see some of the MAGA recognizing that the leopard is going to eat their face. We're seeing, some folks in Congress are starting to recognize that Trump's policies are going to impact their voting constituents, and they are starting to push back a little bit. They're getting a little nervous about his budget. And so
why would they
impact their constituencies, right? So this is the effing around and finding out that the members of Congress are, it's not just MAGA, it's the folks in the House, the folks in the Senate that didn't hold Trump accountable for the last 4 years. It's coming home to roost on them as well.
So Supreme Court is the Supreme Court to me is the ones that really failed this country.
Yeah, Trump certainly has shown a bright, shiny light on them as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a look at Trump's health and see what the near future holds for him in that case. We have no idea where this is going. This is for entertainment purposes.
We know what we're rooting for, but just because we're rooting for it doesn't mean we're going to get it.
Yeah, well, we'll just see what happens.
Whoop us! Pow!
Oh man.
I'll let you start off.
Okay, I'll start off. Okay, so
because you're a commie pinko libtard.
Yeah, exactly. And I stack my deck. So.
You ever think you're ever going to be accused of being a commie pinko libtard?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a Harpo Mark shuffle.
Exactly. You didn't even do that right. You need bigger hands or something.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now, mind you,
yes.
Gary's deck is a beautiful looking deck. I have got zero issues with the artwork and the color saturation and stuff like that. The cards are just too big.
Yes.
And he doesn't have the skills to shuffle them.
Yeah, my shuffling skills are about the 12-year-old boy level.
Yeah.
If you ever saw my handwriting, you'd also agree that's about 12-year-old boy level. I could sign my signature, my name with flair. Everything else looks like I write like a 12-year-old because I print everything. I don't handwrite anymore. Okay, so for entertainment purposes only, How's Trump's health looking these days? Foundation
he
reading.
was looking particularly orange during the Elon Musk just shush, you're not really the president talk.
Oh God. I mean, there are days where he looks like Bozo the Clown, you know? It's just like, oh my God, he looks horrid. You know, spend some money on a good makeup artist or something. My God. Okay, foundational reading is the Queen of Swords. You know, your body's a temple.
Exactly. You want to defile it, guess what's going to happen?
Yeah, you know, he's been mistreating it for years.
And I think, you know, without it going any further than that, that's as reasonable a card as you can expect as a foundational card.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you think is going to happen when you treat your body like he treats it?
Yep. The challenge is the High Priestess.
No, only the good Lord knows when.
Yes, Gary and David, you need to ask the right questions if you want the right answers. Tarot is not good at timelines. You know, time is an illusion, but
it's also kind of that. Yeah, it'll happen when it happens, right? It'll happen right at the exact time, and only the Lord knows that.
Yes.
Well, have you learned your lessons yet? No, then he gets to stick around longer.
God. Underneath it is the Knight of Pentacles, just kind of sitting back, you know, just sit back and observe that health of his. You know, there's nothing we can do to accelerate it. You know, right
that
now
could be that combo right there could be an indication of a progressive ailment,
something slow moving.
Yeah, you know, that they know about, but nothing that they can stop. It's just gonna progress.
Yeah, they're just observing it, keeping an eye on it.
I'll be curious if you get like the Wheel of Fortune card or something like that.
Oh,
that would be.
Why don't you pause the video for a second?
Yeah, exactly.
In the past, we got
the Fortune. Who
knew? Wow. In the past, we had the Ten of Wands. You know, they were just trying to get him to Inauguration Day. That was their whole battle. If we get you to Inauguration Day, everything's going to be fine. And they
didn't look like they were going to get him to that either, did it?
Oh no, it sure didn't. But they did get him there. The current energy is the Lover's card. Just agreements. Hey, we got you to Inauguration, and everything's grand. That was the goal.
He's God's favorite. He's the chosen one.
Gosh. Yeah, which angel's supporting him though, right?
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to be Eve to his Adam, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, indeed. The overarching energy is the Six of Cups. You know, we've also looked at this as kind of a mental health card, where it's just your mind is starting to slip more and more into the past. You know, people who have Alzheimer's or other degenerative mental health, they tend to live in the past. The long-term memories are strong. They have very terrible short-term recall, but they can tell you anything that happened, 40, 50, 60 years earlier. Oh God. Lesson to be learned, the Seven of Cups, illusions, delusions. Yeah, once again, I don't think it's a physical thing with him. I think it's a mental thing. Emotional health, mental health, not good. He's, they got him there. They got him to the finish line. That was the challenge. The outcome is the Ace of Wands.
I'm not really seeing a whole lot there that indicates that he's going anywhere anytime soon.
No. I mean, we're seeing the mental health. Ace of Wands. How would you define that as an outcome? Is that a new treatment? Is that?
To me, he's still going strong.
Yeah. It's not going to be happening in the next. It's not going to be happening in March. It's going to be what I say. There are other readers that see something happening in March, and they may be right.
Right.
I'm not seeing it.
I'd be okay with that, but yeah. when Trump's health does finally go, give us either circumstances around it or how he goes. Be curious, is it mental health? Is it a heart attack? Is it a stroke? Will he be at a Will he be at a celebration? Just I guess they're just a general open-ended reading, and then try and figure out what the heck the cards are showing me on that one, and let my libtard bias come through. Ace of Swords, strong action, crusade. I mean, it's almost as if, like if he was being impeached. So now, some folks have been seeing him also that there's some big, I think Linda G I watched today was saying that he's in trouble with something. Something that's coming up in the future. There's plans. This could be the impeachment, but his health will decline when people take strong action and probably try to remove him from office, or some other crime is exposed. But right now, he's going to be, the way they've set things up, he's going to be free from criming, free from consequences of crime. So foundational reading, Ace of Swords crossed with the Four of Wands, Two of Wands underneath. It's something that's coming, or there's some planning going on here. In the past, Knight of Wands, all these fire energy cards here. Slow moving plan. It's cautious. There's the current situation, the Queen of Swords. Again, there's kind of a progressiveness that's going on. Ace of Swords is about intellect here. It's about him getting elected and brought in. They've kept him going. It's almost like, by them doing whatever they've done to keep him going, to keep him on the quote unquote top of his game. Mm-hmm. Now that they've got him in, they don't necessarily need to keep him going. They've got J.D. Vance in there and Project 2025 stuff. Oh, overarching energy. The Seven of Wands. Still a lot of fighting going on. I look at all these fire energy cards here. Mm-hmm. He's going to be fighting the whole time. This man is not going to get a moment to relax. He's just bringing a lot of chaos and energy with him. There's your Libby's favorite card, the Three of Swords. Lesson to be learned is the heartbreak. It's going to be, if it's going to be anything, it's going to be a cardiac event. That doesn't mean a stroke doesn't follow soon afterwards. It could be that there's a cardiac event. It could be a stroke that leads to a cardiac event, or a cardiac event that leads to a stroke. But it might just be like you've got a cardiac event that prevents him from staying in the office, and then he's got to go. So this would be like the 25th Amendment type stuff. Out comes the Four of Cups. Yeah, I think it's going to be a heart attack. That's going to prevent him from being able to. He'll have the heart attack, and he won't have the mental acuity or strength to stay in. And they'll 25th Amendment his butt. They're basically saying he can't do the job. He can't fight the good fight. Yeah, I know he's going to be upset, but he's got to go. And then you got Trump here, who's going to hear from his doctors, Dr. Ronnie Jackson, or Johnson, or whatever he's calling Ronnie Jackson these days. You're going to have to get some sleep and eat some vegetables and cut out red meat and Adderall and whatever else that he does that he abuses himself. I started saying, maybe when people take actions to remove him, I think it's going to be more his inability to relax, his inability to take it easy on a 78-year-old body that's been chemically abused, entertainment purposes only.
Do you think that Ace of Wands could also relate to they're going to have to take a different action or a new action?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I came back with like the 25th Amendment, they're going to be like, we've got. It's like he has like a heart attack. he's not doing the job, and then he has a health event that is going to prevent. It gives them the excuse to remove him from the job.
Should have done a clarifier on that Ace of Wands.
I'm just curious. Will they give him a pardon on the way out the door?
Oh, why not?
If they 25th Amendment him, will they give him a pardon? I can't imagine a scenario where they don't.
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
There's that 7 of Wands. They're stuck with him. Justice is right there. King of Wands. There's the Death card. God dang. I almost wonder if he dies from this. It's kind of like, he fights so much. He'll basically fight to the death sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. I'll stop being president when you drag my cold
dead body. Yeah, exactly. I mean, will they give him the 25th Amendment? I think they will. I think they will, and they kind of have to in order to get him to move on. But that death card underneath there, he may die in office. This could be one of those things where he's fighting them to not leave, and it takes him out. He doesn't have the energy. And now what do? You killed your own president trying to get rid of him. I don't know.
For the 25th Amendment, don't you need your cabinet votes?
Yeah, the majority of the cabinet has to vote. The vice president brings it up, and the majority of the cabinet have to support it in order to out him.
That would be fascinating, because considering all the people in the cabinet who are, Trump's loyalists.
Exactly. That's why it's going to be. It'll be damn difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be the 7 of Wands. It's like, he's got enough people in there fighting on his side that they can't get him out.
Yeah.
And
until his cold carcass gets dragged out of there.
It's like, the literally breakfast at Bernie's, type thing. Hey, Tom, my name's Donald Trump.
Well, I think you mean Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's, sorry. Breakfast at Tiffany's, Weekend at Bernie's. What's the difference?
Hey.
Weekend at Tiffany's. I'm sure was it Ava Gabor was in Breakfast at Tiffany's? Who's at Breakfast at Tiffany's?
No, it was
Gary likes old movies.
Yeah,
old
Audrey
movies.
Hepburn.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. Standing in for Bernie is Audrey Hepburn. Yeah,
that's right. I'm sure if they remade Breakfast at Bernie's with Aubrey Hepburn, it would be amazing.
Well, they'd probably be better off getting Mickey Rooney. He played kind of this really bizarre. He was supposed to be a Japanese photographer, or he was supposed to be Japanese, and it's just taking your worst stereotypes. And it was just like the most.
I want to apologize now for an era that we weren't alive in. That they thought that this was a good idea.
Oh, it's bizarre and cringy at the same time.
Cringe I think is the right word for that.
Yeah, did you see the movie?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Neither.
No.
Neither. I mean, Murder by Death with Peter Sellers. Murder by Death with Peter Sellers as Mr. Wang is
that was a much better cultural appropriation. The Mickey was just bad.
Michelle and I watched another movie from our childhood, Love at First Bite.
Oh God!
Oh my God! The stereotypes in that thing are god awful. I had no idea as a kid just how bad they were, and you watch it as adults, like, holy smokes, dude!
Since we're going down this path really quick, I was watching some of the old Super Bowls, or I'm sorry, not Super Bowls, old Monday Night Football games. I had gotten COVID.
Yeah, you find those on YouTube.
And I was kind of locked in our little shed. And so I had my computer. I was watching. Someone had posted up old Monday Night Football games. The sexism back in the 70s. Oh my God!
No idea what you're talking about, Howard.
I mean, the football was bad enough. It's just like I was watching tackles that would be flagged for personal fouls all over
Well,
the game.
they changed the rules.
Oh yeah, I mean clearly, but just the stuff that was being said out of the announcer's booth was just like, oh my god.
I apologize to our female audience who had to endure their boyfriends and or husbands watching those games and like just sitting there stewing at what was considered reasonable commentary of the place of women back then.
Oh my goodness, it was so bad. Okay, you got any more for this?
No. It looks like he's sticking around for a while. And by the time he's actually in poor enough health where they remove him, they may not be able to remove him.
Yeah.
other than on a gurney.
Yeah. Yeah, he would love to have a third term. I don't think he's going to be around long enough to finish the second term, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So, but that's just me showing my bias, I suppose.
You know, and it's like the problem is that we don't know why Trump was put back in office from a spiritual sense. We know at a high level, it's like, well, he's a great teacher and y'all wanted to learn more lessons from him. And he's the greatest teacher in the world to teach you those lessons. I don't like that answer, but I can accept that answer. The problem is we don't know what the lessons are and who needs to learn them. Because I suspect the lessons to be learned are not watching this video. They're the people that don't watch these videos.
Yeah, well, true.
Or when they do, they type in all caps wearing their red baseball cap and can't differentiate between your, and your when they say you're biased.
Yes.
They do the possessive instead of the contraction.
Well, I had one guy today saying, making a comment that it was very the Delulu in the comments section is hysterical. He goes, Trump ain't going nowhere. And I love the fact that he used a double negative. It's like, oh yeah, you and I are in agreement. Trump ain't going nowhere.
He's going somewhere.
That's right, exactly.
But, it's like it's almost like he has to be around long enough for these people to suffer the consequences of his decisions, and then have him, instead of blaming Democrats, which he'll try to do, blame Elon Musk, because Elon's going to be the first high-profile person to be thrown under the bus, and basically he can't duck out of it. It's almost like his tariffs have to crash the economy, cause all sorts of suffering. Him blame Elon, and the people that are most impacted stop buying and drinking the Kool-Aid and buying the propaganda.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen by March.
No, I think it's going to be several. We'll be lucky if it happens by the end of the year.
I agree. I would think that would take at least into sometime into 2026.
Yeah, and it could happen by the end of the year. I mean, you add these tariffs. The stock market is getting ready to probably say, "Oh crap, he's really doing this, huh?" Yeah, exactly. Expect some shenanigans on there, but it's going to take a while for his tariffs to cause those food prices to go up or cause prices to go up. But like the tariffs with the steel industry, he did that in 2018. It led to the loss of like 150,000 steel jobs or 150,000 jobs. With that, we're going to have to go through that again, and have all these blue collar rural towns in Pennsylvania suffer mightily to the point where they have to blame Trump for their suffering. Unlike that farmer I talked about the other day, who's trying to say, "Oh, it's the government. It's a corrupt government." It's like, dude, who stopped the payments? Who stopped the agreement? Whose executive order was it? Well, I'm not going to blame Trump. Okay, you obviously haven't hit rock bottom hard enough. You hit it and you bounced, yeah. But this is going to have to be like the Wile E. Coyote, where the big boulder has to follow you. You think you're safe and the boulder hits you. And you don't even have the benefit of the Acme parasol to protect you from said boulder.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. The leopards will be in to follow the boulder and to eat whatever remains of your face are left.
We're slowly grinding there. It's just how long is it going to take?
It's a chariot card.
Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video and supporting our channel. We do appreciate it.
Yes, if you like these videos, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. We put out a new video every day at midnight. Leave a comment. I read them all, respond to many. And I'd like to thank some of the people that have left comments.
Oh, no. Who would that possibly be?
The first one would be Shirlene Higby. She's. I hope you're feeling better, Shirlene. She had eye surgery, and she should be recovering.
You'll recover quickly.
Yes, indeed. I want to also shout out Jean NS, who unfortunately had a cancer diagnosis. So I'm sorry to hear that, Jean. I hope you're doing better.
Right. It's kind of the well, you know, that's not the greatest news you've heard on your health.
Yeah, no, it clearly not. We truly hope you're feeling better. Michelle Dix, DIX.
What's your language? Michelle Richards.
Yes.
She's gonna get married.
Michelle. And then we'll wrap it up with Jesse Moment.
Bobby Ventura.
Jesse Moment is what I've got written here.
Who's not Jesse the Bond?
I got one more. Oh my! I'm sad that
He's
might have written
the last. He's disappointed that we somehow associated him with WWF wrestling.
Yes.
WWE wrestling later on.
Angie Cat Whisperer, because this is the type of channel that appreciates a cat whisperer.
Yes, we celebrate her.
Yes.
What is that blue? What is the black thing behind you? Is that supposed to be a cat?
This is you.
I know, but what is the actual stuffed animal?
It's a cat.
Okay. See, there we go. Yeah. I do not have a magnificent tail like that.
Yes. He's a lot more stoic than you.
So boring. Clearly the intellectual of the house.
He's more Queen of the Cups, where you're more Queen of Swords. Or maybe Queen of Wands.
Michelle gets to be the Queen of Wands in the house here.
All right. And then a secret card for all of you who stuck around for the last 7 minutes of non-tarot. The secret card is you'll die.
I saw what it was.
The secret card is David. Secret card is Yay! We all bring things of value. This is a chance for us to have a new beginning. Frankly, the rules have changed, and we need to stand up and be counted and bring the things of value that we bring. The Dems have been bringing knives and teacups and butter knives to gunfights for the last several years, and it's time for us to stand up and let our opinions be heard. Flood your congressman. Let them know that you're not happy with what's going on. We got to get some bone growth going in Congress, because if Congress and the judicial system don't stand up, they're not going to have a job, because Trump's just going to take all their power away from them.
Bone growth as in there's like spineless jellyfish?
Yes. Bone growth as in something to attach your vertebrae to.
Or my Cthulhu.
Yeah, I was going to say that looks more like it to me. All right. Thanks, folks. Have a great day.
All right. Take care, everyone. Have a good night. Bye.